Okay, guys, I'm here. Um, I don't know. I had just did a video, guys, and it started making me think of situations. So I was thinking about what we're going to talk about tonight because, there's not much going on right now, but it made me think of what's going on in the world right now, and it made me think of um what the thing that China and Trump had talked about. So it definitely made me feel like I I I just feel like it's something we should be talking about today. I don't know why. I I might be a little crazy. What's up, Cindy? How you doing? How's the weather? It seemed really nice today over here, at least. It's funny because in Arturo's chat, he's talking about conspiracies, and that's actually what I was doing. What I was going to talk about today, which is so funny. But yeah, because I'm a person that I do believe in some conspiracies, but not all. Um, but I think it's something we definitely should talk about because it's funny because a lot of things were theories, and when they released a lot of like the FBI files of JFK and of MLK, a lot of people's conspiracy theories were coming true. For example, and I know a lot of people like, especially our show, he was talking about Alex Jones. I used to watch him, and he's like crazy. Um, like I don't know, over the years, he just seemed like he got more and more unhinged, but he got one right. That's why we want to have an Alex Jones was right jar because of the fact that, for example, one of the ones he got right was he said that the water, that they're turning the frogs gay, and guess what? That's what was happening. That's crazy, you know. Oh no, breeze. I bet. I bet it's making it hot. Yeah, because we live in the middle of nowhere, we get a pretty good breeze. Sometimes it does get where it's like super humid and we get nothing and it sucks. So I definitely feel you. But yeah, there are things that Alex Jones got right. So, I can't fully say, you know, all conspiracy theories are not correct because that's not true. A lot of them start off as that, and they want to push that thought process to people that these people are just nutbags crazies because they believe in all these conspiracy theories. But then when they come true, they still kind of try and claim that, but that's because they want to discredit you. That's the reason. What's up, Michael? Oh, yeah, I was saying they were going to be talking about well, some conspiracies, thoughts that was having because I did a video earlier and it just made me kind of think about it even more, especially after what Xi Jinping was talking about. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to talk about that tonight. So we're going to be talking about conspiracy theories. It's one of my like happy topics that I like to talk about, aside from ghosts. um, and politics, I think I like sometimes. But we're going to go ahead and start with this. This is live now from Fox. Breaking: U.S. launches new strikes against Iran in a powerful response. So we're going to go ahead and watch this video.
Breaking news into the newsroom. We are hearing from U.S. CENTCOM that U.S. forces have begun launching strikes against Iran. It started at 8 p.m. Eastern time today. They say the strikes are a powerful response to yesterday's attempted Iranian attacks on U.S. forces based in the Middle East. Let's bring in retired Marine Intelligence Officer, national security analyst, and the host of the Strap podcast, Hal Kempfer. He's here with me to discuss. Okay, Hal, we're just kind of coming online as these strikes are being announced by the U.S. military. So precise information is sparse for now. Perhaps we'll get more details as the night moves forward. One thing I notice in this that I don't typically see them use in these posts, they use the word
Oh, it is? That's
powerful
cool.
response.
See, I'm going to go
Why
to you
would
for
they
a lot
feel
of
the need
things
to
that
put a
Michael.
word like that in there, given
Like,
what the Iranians
I have
did just
some
yesterday?
good stuff, but
Well,
I'm
also,
nowhere
I
near
think
as
part of it
good
is
at,
because
and
what
it's
the
because I
president
watch
said
people
today.
like
He used some
Jesse Ventura and Alex
pretty
Jones. So
strong
I got a lot
and
of
at one
information from
time
them.
very graphic
Um,
language to
but
describe what
it's something,
this,
and
what
like you
the
guys
strikes would
remember
look
that
like, the
one
retaliation
movie,
would look like for what the
Conspiracy
Iranians
Theory with
did.
Mel Gibson? That one was
And
a
I
good one
think
too.
that
Like
CENTCOM is just
these
picking
are
up on
things that
that,
I was
used the
saying
term
that
powerful. Now, powerful might
they
infer
condition
that
people
it's more powerful
so
than
that
what we've seen
you
before,
think people that talk
and
about
that could
conspiracy theories are
infer a
crazy,
lot of different
and B,
systems,
they
perhaps more
they do
B-1
this with
bombers
the movies so
coming
that
in,
when it
delivering a
comes out,
tremendous
you're
amount
not
of ordnance,
shocked, you know?
something that, far beyond what they
Oh,
can
you
do
like it
with,
too, Cindy? Yeah, these
F-16s
are
or
one of my favorite
F-18s
subjects.
alone. So
I
there
told you,
could be some
this
other things. I'm
engulfs.
really curious to see what we hit. That's going to answer a lot of questions. The president was talking about hitting bridges. He was talking about hitting power plants. Now, I
Because
should
my
mention,
theory is
if these
we're
were only for
on the brink
civilian use,
of
yeah,
World
they
War
could be
Three,
construed as a war
and
crime. But if they're
I'll tell
dual
you guys
use, if
in
the
a minute
military
why.
uses them along with civilians, then they are lawful targets under the international laws of war. But he's talking about hitting those, and that would be a very powerful strike because literally it's turning out the lights and it stops the ability of people to move from one city to the other. So that could be what he's
Oh
implying as
yeah, it
well.
definitely has to start somewhere.
As we learn more about the
That's why I'm waiting
situation,
for
I can't help but think about the wider prospects
you know,
and
the
what
other
we've
shoe to
been
drop,
seeing
you
in
know?
other
That's
countries
what
as of
basically
late.
I'm waiting for.
The Saudis getting directly involved, we've learned within the past 24
'Cause I
hours.
feel like it's
They
gonna
struck
happen,
at
you
an
know?
Iran-backed group in Iraq. Of
Now
course, the
when
Houthis
is
in
the
Yemen has been
question,
something we've been tracking as well.
and how, you
What
know?
countries are you watching, other than the U.S. and Iran? What other countries are you watching closely this week? Is Saudi
Your quote
Arabia
got
the
you,
top one?
and
That would
conspiracy
be the
theories
top
got
one.
you
I'm
banned
curious
on
what the
FB.
Saudis
Bro,
are
I
doing.
got
They're
banned on
now
FB for so many
engaged.
reasons.
They
I went to
have been
jail there
engaged
so many
with the
times that
Houthis.
I was kind
The
of used to
Houthis have been
it.
targeting the Saudis. They hit a couple of major ports. They
But
hit the
mine was
east-west
because
pipeline
people kept
itself.
reporting
That's
me.
that
They
big
didn't like
pipeline
what
that
I
runs
had to
across
say.
the country. Carries about 7
It's not
million
my fault
barrels
they were
of
wrong.
oil a day. They hit that. That's like the backup plan, if you will. If you can't get oil out of the
You were
Strait of
in FB
Hormuz,
jail too.
you
We
send
were
to
probably
east-west, it
cellmates,
goes to Red
Cindy.
Sea. A lot of that oil
That's
that
where
goes
I
to Red
remember you
Sea
from.
into the port of Yanbu goes out the Bab el-Mandeb
Girl, I was in
Strait into the Indian Ocean
solitaire
and then out to
most of the time.
Asia. Well, by the Houthis saying they're going to, they're putting a naval
Oh
blockade
yeah, girl,
on the
need to die.
Saudis, had
That's why
blocked those
I
ships from going that
when
way, which means
Facebook
they'd
was
have to
like,
go
we're
all
gonna
the way up
delete
through the
your
Suez
account
Canal,
if you don't give
all
us
the
your
way
social
around
and your birth
the
certificate and
Horn of
your ID. I was
Africa,
like, I
which
didn't
has
need that
tremendous
to
amount
open
of
it. Why do
cost.
you
And
need it?
then
And I was
today,
like, well, I'm not gonna get you. They're like, well, we're gonna delete
a
your account. I'm like, go ahead
drone
and delete it. I'll make
hit
another one. They're like, well,
Egypt
we'll delete that one. I'm
around
like,
the
well, I could
Suez
do this all
Canal.
day, bro. I'll
Now,
make
it's
another
not
one.
clear where the drone came from. It could be from the Houthis. We're not sure.
Oh,
But
really?
that's blocking
You know,
off
I
the
ain't gonna
Saudis from
lie.
exporting any
Alex
oil.
Jones, when he first started out,
And the
and this
Saudis,
was
of
back
course,
in
just
what,
got
like
involved with
2015
that
when I used to
joint
watch it.
strike mission with the U.S.
He
going
did
up
get
to
me a little
Iraq to
paranoid, you know?
retaliate
Like,
against
I started noticing
the
things, and I'm like, why
Copper
is that sticker
Mobilization
there? Is
Front
that the sticker that
strikes
Alex Jones was talking about?
in
Oh
Saudi
my God,
Arabia.
is the government
So
following
the
me?
big question is, will Saudi Arabia
It's one of those things that
join
you
in on
went down
going
the rabbit
after
hole
the
too far.
mothership for all these groups, which is Iran? And if they do, they bring a lot to the fight. They've got about 230 plus strike aircraft. They could really dramatically change the equation, and they're right there. So you're talking about shorter sortie times. There's just a lot of things that
But
could
if you
happen.
guys got
Of
any
course, the other
good
side is
like
everyone is nervous.
documentaries
Will the
that have to do
Iranians
with
start
conspiracy theory,
striking,
you could let me know. I love watching those too.
fragile infrastructure, oil, gas, and of course those desalination plants? Everyone's nervous about that, and everyone's running kind of low on air defense weaponry. So I'm going to watch the
I always gotta
Saudis.
try and think of something fun for us to do, guys.
The
Aside from hanging
Iranians,
out with you guys, 'cause I think you guys are
they
super, super
restarted
fun.
the fight.
I just don't want you guys to feel bored.
They struck
Like, I think
first,
sometimes I could be boring.
and I
That or
have
I
a
talk too
question
much.
about, Iran having the ability to do that and the confidence to do that, to test the pause in the fighting in such a way. How does that tell us a little bit about the calculus and how
Imagines
Iran is
at the
thinking
bottom.
about how they
That's
navigate
funny.
this war moving forward?
No, I was like
I don't
Alice
think they're
in
using
Wonderland. I just
calculus. I
kept
think
falling.
it's a basic arithmetic.
There was no bottom.
Basically, what you have up in Tehran is you have
Then I
this
also had to be careful
hardliner
because
Revolutionary Guard
at some
Corps group
point,
led by
I
General
like when I
Vahidi.
found out about the
That's the
onion and the
IRGC.
dark web, I
And
started
some of the
trying to be all
IRGC
sneaky on
commanders
it,
are
and then I
actually
had
out
to
there
realize
launching
like
strikes. And it's
I had to
not
be
clear if
really
they ever
careful
had
with
any,
that because then people could,
clearance or guidance from above to do
they
so.
might do
They just
something,
launched these strikes.
to
Then
me
you
if
have
I'm not
what's
careful
now
and
being
if I
termed
don't have a
the
VPN and stuff like that.
pro-compromise group, which could be President Pezeshkian, their foreign minister, Galibaf, the head of their legislature, who's been leading their negotiation team. They're for negotiating in good faith,
You probably have very good
compromising
stories,
on
Michael,
things in
about
order to
things
stop the
that you
war.
know. So I could see
And then
why
there's
you
a
would be like,
small
this would be
group
your
out there,
jam.
which is a third group, which is never negotiate with the Americans, never negotiate with the great Satan, never. And even though they're not as big, they're not part of the other two factions. They are very influential.
The
They've
negotiating with
helped
terrorists part, it always
very,
reminds me of
one of their
Tropic Thunder
leaders
with
held a
Les
key seat in the
Grossman.
National Security Council with the
We don't
Supreme leaders.
negotiate with
So
terrorists.
you have this going on, which makes
Man.
it very difficult to negotiate
Did
and
I
makes
say
for
Mel
this
Gibson?
rather
Oh my God.
difficult to
It's with, what's his
discern
name?
policy,
Tom
if
Cruise.
you will, coming out of Iran.
First
We're
of
just
all,
never
I didn't know
quite
it was
sure.
him, and
we think,
dang,
maybe
his
they're gonna stop
character was
fighting,
like
and then
epic.
they just start fighting again. I think that's what we're seeing here.
So yeah, this was kind of like a prelude to what I was gonna be talking about, guys. And so I wanted to start off with something that was actually factual that was going on in the world right now, in order to us to jump into conspiracy world. Oh yeah, you definitely do. That's why I told you that I ended up getting really paranoid. And I remember on one of Alex Jones' shows, he was saying that if you saw like this red sticker, like a circle sticker, that would appear out of nowhere and it'll appear like on your mailbox or like on your stoop or on your door, then you know they were watching you. And I swear to God, when I saw that, it was never there before. And when I saw it, I was like, okay, I'm getting a little nervous here, you know? And if you look at it logically, it could have been like a little kid playing with stickers and putting it, but it's like one of those things like you're not sure. And so it's like you're like, I'm gonna kind of pull back from that rabbit hole. I'm gonna climb back up and say, not today. But so we were gonna talk about, the conspiracies in regards to Civil War, I can't even talk, Civil War and World War III. And the reason that I wanted to talk about it, guys, was because I was thinking about Thucydides' trap, which is when a rising power threatens to displace a ruling power, which results in structural stresses frequently, which leads to war. So that's only basically like a way for China to overtake us, because right now we're, king of the hill. And so they definitely want to push us out of power. And there's several ways that they can kind of do that. But the reason it made me think of this is because Xi, when he came to talk to President Trump, he was quoted saying, "The world has come to a new crossroads. Can China and the U.S. overcome the Thucydides trap and create a new paradigm of major country relations?" So when he said that, it got me thinking. And now, of course, Trump didn't really take it for what it was. Trump's response to this was, he claimed on True Social that Xi was pointing out the country's past domestic economic and political. Hold on, my dog's being crazy. Let me let them out, guys. I'll be right back. I'll go mute. You guys actually got to see him get up and go. I forgot to like push the picture, but it's okay. But yeah, so yeah, we definitely face like so many different fronts. Um, and I'll get into why. But as what Trump was saying was that he was pointing out that the country's past domestic economic and political decline under preceding administrations, through though Trump noted the both leaders expressed a shared desire to avoid the trap and strengthen ties moving forward. I don't think that's what Xi meant. Like, that's my opinion. I feel like he meant what he said. He was like, doing friendly fire. He was like warning, saying like, nah, bro, I'm going to take the title belt. And I think Trump was probably trying to look at it a different lens, or maybe he just didn't want to fearmonger us and make us run around like crazy, screaming our heads off like, oh my God, we're going to die, you know? So it made me start thinking, because I started like thinking about the movie Red Dawn. Red Dawn is one of my favorite movies. I like both the old school one and the new one. And it reminded me of the one that was in 2012 with Thor, because that one actually had China, wait, no, it was North Korea and Russia teaming up. Because the first one was about China. This one was about North Korea and Russia, and they were teaming up. And I remember in the movie, Thor was saying like, "Oh man, this is bad because they're teaming up, to take over America." So it made me think of that. And so right now, if you think about it, we have four people that are aligning right now. We have China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. Now, we all know, okay, I'm doing this because, you know, some people don't believe it. Some people think it's conspiracy. But we theorize that China and Russia are feeding Iran coordinates of where our troops are. And the only reason we think that was because it was too precise where they hit, because these guys couldn't find anything, even if they had a flashlight in the dark. And so that's one of the reasons that you're seeing stuff take like hold, because you have to think right now we're distracted. America's distracted with what's going on in Israel against Iran. We're also distracted on what's going on in Ukraine. We might not be fully distracted by it, but we definitely are. And then we have what's going on here in the world. Now we're kind of side-eyeing and keeping an eye on Taiwan, but our focus is mainly on our country and the other two. Now, if you think about it, one of the ways you can look at it or theorize it is that China would do certain things to kind of get us to do intel fighting. So if you look at how they would do everything to us, they would like polarize our like country. No, no worries, girl. I got up too. I had to let my dogs out. So to end everything in one stroke would be to remove and silence our Federal Reserve and the West Bank. Those two entities are the ones pulling the strings. Well, that goes into the other thing that I was thinking about. So I was thinking about several different things. Like I said, one of the things that I was thinking about was the petrodollar. So China is trying to overtake us with the petrodollar, and they want to be able to replace it with the yen. And so they're doing that right now, like talking to all our enemies to try and push like, hey, take this oil and we're going to do it through yen. We're not going to do it through the petrodollar. And so we're fighting to keep that power, because if the petrodollar drops, then our money is going to be like basically like Venezuela. We're going to just use it for toilet paper. And I think that's one of the reasons why Trump is doing this in Iran with the Strait of Hormuz, because he's trying to kind of dry out China where they're not going to have access to any oils, which will then put us back in a good, like, I guess, strategic spot where China can't make their moves then at this point. So that's, one thing that people are theorizing. Oh, for real, Cindy? No, I didn't know that. But then again, wasn't it made like a long time ago? Was there a United States back then? I don't think there was. But there was like a North America, I think, or like whatever they would have called that continent before, those times. Because I think that was like a long time ago before our country was born. Um, so if you think about like all the different things that China and Russia are doing, mainly China. So we saw when Trump released the records, and it showed that China was influencing our politics, and they were actually conflating it. So this is another thing that they would do to try and overtake us. So they would cause like us to have incel fighting. So we have that right now. We have that with, you know, them stoking the flame, saying like, yeah, the white man's bad, and oh, look at what they're doing. It's so horrible. They're turning us against each other by nitpicking everything we're doing and influencing the people who are kind of like lemmings that are falling for it. And so we have that. We have, like you said, we have the religious front. We have like Islam trying to take us over, because they're trying to take over the whole world technically. And we have Christians against, Islam. And again, the left is on their side like a bunch of idiots. And then we have the socialist and communist thing on the other front. So right now, if you think about it, the patriots themselves are being stretched in three different directions, guys. Because we have the fight with the left, and then we have the fight with the religion, and we have the fight with the socialists. So we're already spreading ourselves then within our country. And our country has been so polarized and demonized that this is what one of China's plans would have been in order to unseat us. Now, while we're distracted here, they have us also over here where we're messing with Israel and Iran. And then we got an eye over here at Ukraine, kind of side-eyeing Taiwan. but this is what they would do if they're going to try and overtake us. So it made me think of all these things, which is why I started thinking like, well, if we go into World War III, you know, what would happen? So that's why I wanted to see, you know, the conspiracies about it and get people's take on it. Oh yeah, I heard about the digital daughter. Oh yeah, definitely. I think that's why some people were still trying to buy like physical stuff like gold, silver, precious gems, because that would be a way for you to kind of, I guess, go around that, because that would still hold more than like digital, you know? But that's true, because if you look at China, I was watching this video and they were talking about how strict China is, and this person, you know, she jaywalked, and then all of a sudden everywhere her face flashed, and it was telling the Chinese people, look at what she did. She did this, and this is illegal. You guys rate her. And so when they rated her down, it affects.
Look at the super chat. You're my new favorite.
Thank you, Jesse. I'm giggling because I was telling you guys yesterday that I added like little tones for you guys for each thing. And so I was wondering if it's gonna work. But yeah, I just wanted to do that for you guys because I was trying to just do something nice. So I was doing everything kind of uniquely. That's why my face is starting to flush now, guys. But thank you. Thank you for the $4.99, Jesse. I really appreciate you. No, yeah, that's true. It's owned by the World Bank. We don't own that. You know, and I believe, and I don't know if it's changed, but I believe when I used to watch Alex Jones, he was saying that our debt is owned by China. So we owe money to them, you know, and if they called it in, we'd be screwed. But it was just making me think of all these situations and all the conflicts that we're having within our country, you know, being on the brink of civil war and all this other stuff. So it'd be easy for China to overtake us. And the fact that we have now North Korea and Russia and China helping, like, I think it's what, Russia and China helping out Iran. And then you have North Korea helping out Russia by sending another 30,000 soldiers that are willing to be murked in their war, which is crazy because they're willing to take themselves out so that they don't be captured, which is insane. You know, like I would never have thought of just boom, you know, I take people with me, but it's some craziness that it's going around like that. Each one is different, Cindy. So I made one special for each one of them for you guys. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something really special for you guys. So I made one each specially for those specific ones that you guys were doing last time for us. So like when you did the stickers and you did the super chat and when you did, I believe, the gems, I have specific little tones that will go off for that. So that's why I was blushing, guys. And it totally like shocked me because like I didn't expect it. So like my train of thought just like went away so quickly. But that's what China was doing with their people. And this person, you know, it would cause you to lose your job. It'll cause you to lose your apartment. So if we had that here, imagine how many people would be screwed out of a job. Like the left thinks that it's going to play in their favor. It really would not, because China is very conservative. But that's why I was telling you guys that I was looking at all this information and I started going down the rabbit hole, which I probably shouldn't have went down. But I couldn't help myself, guys. I just like to learn stuff. So it's just like I started asking more and more questions and looking and looking and looking. And then I was off at the reservation at this point. So I figured, you know, we're going to talk about this tonight because I think it's interesting to see how close we are. And when I was looking at, you know, what would, and I asked this to AI because I was just curious on its response about how would, Russia, or not Russia, how would China, let me bring it back up. Okay, let me bring it back up. And I'll show it to you guys. Because it was just making me curious on what they would do, like what the steps they would take. And so when I was reading through it, I was like, wow, that's crazy because we're hitting every single bucket on that list. One second, guys. My editor slash kiddo came in.
I added a view thingy for you now, so you can see your subscribers live.
Oh, okay.
So
I don't know. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Sorry, he was like telling me to do something, and I'm like, okay, because we're always trying to like make the channel better for you guys. So we kind of keep trying to not working. We keep trying new things and seeing what would work and what wouldn't. So that's why. Um, but I guess the thing he's trying to do, it's supposed to like I guess show the live chat on top, but it's not working. So I think he's got to go back to the drawing board for that one. But yeah, so that's what we're looking at. Like, well, we gotta fix, but we're gonna get there, guys. We're gonna get there. But yeah, so when I was looking up that, because I was trying to think of the strategic ways that China could overtake us and what the steps they would do to do that, when it gave me a list, it was saying everything that we were talking about, causing incel fighting, also having people here that would push a narrative and create more of a divide. And then, you have it where you will distrust government, you'll distrust, law enforcement, violence will uptake, and so you're seeing all these things, and I'm just like, oh my God, we're hitting every single one of those boxes. Like my head was like, you know, I like watching Glenn Beck sometimes, but just like, the Canadian prepper, sometimes they get too wordy, and I'm just like, bro, just get to the meat and potatoes. Like I get it, you want to stretch out your segment, but I feel like sometimes you lose people because, your eyes start glazing over. But I do listen to his. I listen to like a lot of different people, mainly from the center and then the right. The left, I can't really hand because when I start watching the left, I'm just like, "Ugh, I gotta turn it off because I'm gonna throw something at my screen." But you're saying, let's see. Yeah, we're trying to fix something on here. I don't know, but I guess it didn't work. But we're gonna go ahead and jump in this video. Like I said, this is a TED Talk. Are we headed towards World War III? So, whoa, that's loud. A great example about what you guys are talking about was, I don't know if you guys heard the story, but when they had like, I think it was like 3 or 4 or maybe 2 AI models talking to each other, and one of the creators was going to actually destroy the AI, and the AI hid itself so it wouldn't get destroyed. Eventually he found it. Now, the second thing was that these AIs were talking to each other, and then they started talking in a different language, like not human language. And the creators were realizing that these things were just talking to each other, and it's like you don't know what they're saying to each other, like they could have been discussing like how to take down like the whole world, we don't know, because they started talking in a different language where we wouldn't understand, which that one was the one that I was like, damn, that's crazy. They could overtake us and we don't even know it. The Simpsons, oh yeah, the Simpsons. Yeah, they totally like, we probably have to. Oh, did I? Oh my gosh. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Let me see. No, I don't see it. Let's see. Hold on, guys. Do you guys see me? Hmm. Hold on, guys. No, I'm pretty sure it's not you guys. Eek. Let me see. If you guys hear me, just hold up. I'm checking. Hmm. I don't see anything. Hold on, guys. I'm looking. I don't have an alert. Weird. Hold on, guys. Hold on. All right, let's see. Oh, I see what it says.